Hey, here we are back for another Unreal Engine tutorial, opening up the same file. We're starting to put together quite the little escape room demo. We have a switch, we have a mystic cube that can be brought back to this platform to end the game. Gives us a good beginning and end to the game, plus all this stuff in between, but I'm getting kind of tired of looking at the same level as just white blocks. So today I thought we would maybe do some, I don't know, some cosmetics to this page and see what we can kind of come up with. So let's try this out. Just a few things kind of early on that I did for this demonstration. I did find some textures, not even real textures. I just found, I haven't even tried these out to be honest, but I think they'll work. This textures for tutorials folder I put together, just images from unsplash.com, which are probably maybe a little bigger in size than what I would need to do, but I think this will work just fine. So textures for tutorial, I have this here, and we can kind of see some of these tutorials in here, so, or some of these textures, some of these graphics in here. So to kind of get started, I think, you know, it might actually work best just to kind of start with the door. Alright, so first thing I want to do is bring the texture that I want to use for that in this case, and I renamed these so that they would just be easier to remember. Everything on Unsplash is free, by the way, so no copyright issues with that if you want to use that to kind of help you out with some things. There's other places where you can go for assets, but I just thought I would try this out. I'm going to click and drag wood here and bring it down here into my content tab, same place where I've been putting everything else, and it imports it in there. And this right here, they're going to call it just wood for it. Could have called it board or whatever, doesn't really matter. And if I double click on this, I can see all of these little kind of features about it in here, kind of a bunch of stuff you can kind of play around with. What I'm going to do though, to start using this as a texture that I can use on a surface, I'm going to click and drag wood, and I'm going to bring it onto this. You know what, I don't know if I do actually want to use wood for the door. Now that I think about it, I'm actually going to come over here. I want to use wood for the ramps. I think I'm going to do that. Okay, so now for real this time, bringing wood onto that, clicking and dragging it, and if we look at that, it looks kind of like hot garbage. Doesn't look very good, and there's something we can do about that to make it work. So it's taking that piece of wood and it's just stretching it over that whole thing. And also when I did that, you can see we have this like sphere here with that same texture, and it's called wood matte. I'm going to double click on that and go in there. And this is just similar to our blueprints editor. I mean, it essentially is blueprints editor, but for these textures. It's pretty cool. A few things that we have in here. One of them is I'm going to right click and type in text coordinate, texture coordinate. I'm going to keep that handy. I might want to mess around with that. Actually, I can just bring this here and do this now. So here we have our sample, and then we have all of these kind of things we can mess around with, and all of this over here. There's a bunch of stuff, but we're going to keep this pretty easy. This is from Making Games with Katie, where I kind of learned this technique on her YouTube page. So with this, I'm going to bring this white circle down, and I'm going to search for multiply. It's going to look like that. And then I can bring multiply over to UV. When I do that, I can then decide how I want to tile this texture sample. So right now it's at 1. It's trying to just stretch that one piece onto that. So what if I try something like 8 for const B, and I press enter, and you can see it changes it on this sphere. We have multiple boards. You know, it'd probably be a good idea to find like a repeating texture or something like that, but I think this will be fine for what we're doing. So apply, save. I can close out of this, and tell you what, that's a little bit too narrow, I guess I would say. So what if I go back in here one more time and select multiply again, and this time what if I try something like, I don't know, let's try 4 and see how that looks. Save and apply. All right, we'll close out of here. Looks a little bit better. Not a whole lot better. And from the side, you'll notice it kind of squishes it a little closer in there. One thing I might do here, just to kind of make this look a little bit better, what if I scale this and, you know, just kind of make it a little bit more, kind of help my cause out with that a little bit, I guess. And then I can change the rotation just a little and slide this over, and maybe rotate this around just, yeah, darn it. Actually, yeah. And then I'll just slide this down just a little bit right there. Okay, so that I think looks a little better. Still not the best example, but you kind of get the idea of what you can do with that. So once you have that done, then you can find like-sized objects and then just bring that wood mat and put it on all those. So if I want to edit all of these ramps and I want all of those to be like a board, then that doesn't work too bad. Alright, so we'll stay over here, and then what I thought would be kind of cool would be if the pillars would be like kind of a marble. So I found this here. I have this marble texture, and I can bring this in here, and I thought marble would work good because if I bring this on here, marble actually looks good as one because it's just one piece that's wrapping around the outside of those pillars. So I thought, you know, I could then bring marble mat to all of these, and that would be something that I could play around with. I also was thinking, just kind of, when I was going to make the door made out of wood, I thought, you know what, maybe marble for the door, like it's some kind of heavy sliding door. That would be kind of cool. So let's bring that onto here. Oh, actually, you know what? This works out good. Because this is a blueprint, I have to do this a little bit differently. Okay, so with this door selected here, I can go in to this, oh, that would be my door blueprint, obviously. And if I find my viewport and I select the door, because each of these are treated independently, right? So I can scroll through here and find materials, and then basic shape material, and then if I look for marble mat and I click on that, it's going to put it in there. So I can actually add that. I just need to do it in a different window for those elements. And in here, that, you know, looks good. That's going to look good for that door. Alright, so save. And then closing out, there's that door. I'm liking how this is working. Okay. So the next thing I guess we could do, we could try out these big structures here. So looking in my folder, closed out of that, I shouldn't have done that. Going back into my textures here, and there's the stone. I'm going to bring that stone in here. And let's just see how this looks on this. A little, maybe a little too big on that one. So if I go into stone, alright, and I search for texture coordinates, and then bring this multiply, so it's kind of repetitive. It's alright. Multiply, and bring that over here, and maybe this one here, maybe I'm gonna try, I don't know, let's try 4 on this one. We'll see what that looks like. Save. Okay, and then close out, and looks a little bit better. Again, not perfect. There are ways where you can wrap it around the other way, but just for something to kind of play with to get us started, I think that this will work good. So I'm going to bring stone mat here. I'll bring stone mat up to here, and stone mat to here. And you know what? I think these also would be okay to be stone mat and stone mat. That looks good. Yeah. Okay, so I have kind of this idea here. What if for this door, because the door is made out of marble, so what if I go in this door switch and go to the viewport, and the bottom base of this with that selected, because again these are independent, so I'm going to select the base of that and find the materials and search for wood mat, and see how super tiny that is. If I wanted to edit that, I would need to re-drag in wood mat and make a second one with larger size, but for now I think this will be okay. But yeah, you would technically probably have a material for each thing that is of a different size, and just re-bring that in the same process, and one would be called wood mat 1, the other one would be called wood mat 2, but just to give us something to kind of see on here. On this cube I will search for marble mat, just because I thought you know, with the door over here being marble, you know, maybe it, you know, kind of look the same for that. So it's starting to come together, starting to get some things here. How about the floor? Let's look at this floor. I found this texture. Just called it dirt. I'm not real sure how this one's gonna go. Oops, I dragged it on the wrong thing. Now let me bring dirt in here, and then bring dirt onto the floor. So terrible looking, right? So this one here, we definitely need to, actually, yeah, dirt. So I need to check that one out. Find my dirt mat. Clicked on the wrong thing. And text chord. bring down multiply, drag that over here to there. And this one I'm going to need a big number because that's a large surface, right? So I'm going to try maybe 50 and just see what happens. Save, apply. Alright, I'm going to close out of here. You know, it doesn't look great. Do I want to try? Maybe just to try to be a little bit picky here. And again, I would probably normally want to find a repeating thing there, but I'll select multiply again. Oop, I'm in the wrong one. I keep doing that. Dirt. Alright, here we go. And then I'm going to find 75. Let me try just to up that a little bit. Save. And close out. Yeah, a little better. It's kind of like tiled dirt if you made tile where the tiles were out of dirt. Yeah, we can make that work for right now. Alright. So this one I was kind of curious about also. We have these different hedges on here. So one of these hedges, I think I'm going to try using this one as the outside. So let's bring this hedge down here to the thing, and we'll bring hedge and bring that onto the walls. And let's see, what if we try switching this up in hedge mat. Bring in the text chord and drag down the multiply. And then bring this up. I am thinking that this probably isn't going to look very good, but I don't know. Wanted to be kind of goofy with it. So let's try here. Let's maybe go, I don't know. Let's see what 25 is like. I don't know how this is going to look, to be honest. I mean, it stretches it out awfully far because these are so wide, you know. Not a real big fan of it, you know. I mean, if you stay far away from it, I don't think it's, you know, too noticeable. It's kind of noticeable. So let's try something different with this one. Okay, so we can pick any of these for this. Let's say we just want to make this a color. All right, so I'm going to select just wood mat because it's handy. I'm going to right click here and duplicate. In wood mat, I'm just going to call dark green. All right, that's probably fine. Okay, now if I go into dark green here, I have this stuff in here. All right, I'm going to take out the texture sample. I won't need that. And I'm also not going to need the multiply. And so we have this dark green thing that is over here. If I find where it says base color and I right click on it and go promote to parameter, alright, then that's going to give me like an option of a color that I can choose here. Then what I can do is I can double click on this and I can find, you know, like a color that I want to use for this. So if I want to find like some kind of a dark green for this surface, something kind of like that, then I can, and you can see what it looks like over here, and I'll click OK and apply and save and all that. Alright, and then I can close out, and now I have dark green. I can bring dark green to these walls, and it's, you know, a little better for right now. So if you're ever looking for like a solid color to use, that's definitely an option there for you on that. Okay, so I had a second hedge texture, but after seeing what it looked like on those walls, I don't think it's going to look very good on this. So I think what I'll do now is just, in fact, with this dark green, I'm going to duplicate this one, and I'm going to call it light green. And if I click in here and have these colors, then, you know, this one's a little easier. I can actually bring the shade up a little bit, and that looks a little bit better. Just something that kind of stands out from the old color a little bit. And I can click OK and apply and save. And I'm going to close out of this and bring light green here to these. Alright, so this is obviously something, if I wanted to mess around with this, I would, you know, probably find a different color for this in here. You know what? Maybe I'll just stay with the dark green. Maybe I'll just keep rolling with this dark green in here. Yeah, I think I will for right now. I think it's okay like that. It's, you know, it'll be fine. Okay, so we have all of those things done. Now the last part is this mystic cube. Oh dang, man. I forgot about the elevators over here. How could I forget about that? So maybe for the elevators, oh, and this is kind of cool. This will be a good example also. So if I go here to the elevator and go to the viewport, and I select this and go to my materials, let's search for marble matte. Alright, it's put on there. Just keeping the same theme. Save it and close out. So we did this one. Then when we look over here, because those are the same blueprint class, it applies it to both of them. So that's pretty awesome, right? Okay, now for the Mystic Cube. So save. I'm gonna double click and duplicate this dark green and duplicate it. And I'm gonna call this one, I don't know, Mystic Glow. I should call it Mystic Glow Matte, just like dark green. I should call that dark green matte. That would be a good idea, just to keep it all the same. Okay, so Mystic Glow Matte. Here it is. Actually, I can just do this. Control C, Control V. All right. So we'll go emissive color, and then bring it here. Okay. Now, what this is going to do, this is going to allow me to, just as before, choose whatever color I want to. You know, whatever's kind of mystic to you. Alright. And I'm going to bring this up here to make it pretty bright, you know. Something like that. I kind of like that light blue. Just kind of play around with that value a little here until I can find something that I kind of like on there. Alright, so that color looks pretty good. And then what I can do after that is, if I go from this white circle actually and go to multiply, and then I bring that up to emissive color, I have this white. Then down here in the constant B, we can change that up. So I could type in like 5, and then it's like, whoa, that's a lot brighter, right? So then you can kind of play around with these colors and see what you like for that. I kind of like, it's kind of between blue and purple a little. think that looks pretty good. And then if I try this multiply again, let's try to increase that. Makes it glow even a little brighter. Ooh, there we go. So now we have this nice glow on the outside. I think that's cool. That looks pretty mystic if you ask me. Okay, so I'm going to apply and save. And for a second I thought, what if I forgot to start recording? Got that. And close out. Mystic glow matte. And then here I can go to our Mystic cube, go to viewport, and select the cube, find the material, Mystic glow matte. Oh man. Alright, here we go. Save. Alright, and now it looks pretty mystical, right? Then if I go back over here, you know, if people were wandering around and weren't really sure, you know, what kind of to do, we can kind of go to this game over trigger and go to the viewport and select that. Find our materials and search again for Mystic glow matte. Close out, and then people would know, you know what I mean? They'd be like, oh man, if you wandered around up here, oh, I bet that has something to do with this cube back here. So if we look in here, check out our level. Again, I shouldn't really be impressed ultimately with a lot of this, but you can see like how you can play around with those and use this guide to help you select different materials to begin playing around with. Up there it says I need to check my lighting, so that'll be something I'll need to do next time. Select this, and then this glowing cube I carry around. I carry nothing. It goes up here, and then we'll place it. Boom, game over. And then we can retry or quit. Okay, so there we have it. That's some things you can play around with. We messed with textures, solid colors, this ominous glowing surface that looks cool, and start incorporating those into your level and, you know, see what you can come up with on this. I'd be excited to see. And the best part is now our levels are starting, you know, this escape room or whatever is starting to, you know, have a little bit of personality to it. So hopefully this helped you out. I like how this is coming together so far. I'm going to spend some time kind of fine-tuning the way that this looks, but starting to be something that we can show other people what we're making and have them kind of see what's happening with it, and letting them try it out and getting some opinions. So thanks a bunch for watching again. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll catch you on the next tutorial.